So yeah, just a big welcome to everybody. Obviously, you know, I'm Diane, I'm area coordinator at Voluntary Centre Services. I'm co-hosting with Jodie today. Jodie, I don't know if you just want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name's Jodie. I'm a project officer for Voluntary Centre Services covering the Lincoln and Seaford areas, all around group support.
And we also have with us Jane, who will also be contributing. So Jane, I'll let you just do an introduction too.
Hi everybody. So yeah, I'm a project officer for my remit is volunteering and community development. So I'm very heavily involved with the volunteer centre at Lincoln. Know many of you around the screen. Paul, so nice to see you. I've not seen you for 2 years, and I was in a different role last time. So yeah, I've got a couple of things, but I'll come to those. Diane. After
yes, absolutely. Yeah, thanks Jane, that's brilliant. So yeah, usual etiquette for Zoom. If you can just keep yourself on mute unless you are one of the speakers, clearly, or you've got a question to ask. If you do have a question, if you could please just raise your hand, either hopefully virtually so we can see it, but if you really can't do that bit, just wave and hopefully Jodie or I or Jane will pick up that you're doing that. So the purpose of the meeting, if people haven't been before, is really to get us together across the sector. The focus we have here is particularly around volunteering, but not entirely. So we love to share projects and news of anything that's going on in the sector in Lincoln. We also, as Voluntary Centre Services, run forums as well, as many of you know, in the West Lindsey area and North Kestervan. So if you keep an eye on our Eventbrite page, you can also link into those. We've shared, for those of you that were early doors, we've shared the agenda document. So just to let you know, our speakers today, we've got some great speakers. We've got Jackie Kirk coming to tell us about JAQS Trust. We've got Paul Carrick from City Council speaking about Lincoln embracing all nations. That sounds good and exciting. And we've also got the Development Plus team. Oh, I'm so excited about this, to tell us about their new projects. So it's a great opportunity to hear some exciting stuff at the start of the year. There'll also be time at the end just for some updates from all of you to let us know how things are with you. So if you've got stuff you want to share, please be patient and wait for the end of the meeting. In terms of updates from us, I'll go first. We're still largely operating remotely. We are looking at phasing back so that we can actually do some more in-person stuff, and we're already starting to do that a little bit with our DBS service and so on. Our social prescribers have never stopped doing face-to-face contact of some nature with their clients, but we're based in City Hall, and we've been a bit cautious about opening back up to volunteers during the pandemic, when we know that people could still access us remotely and by phone. So we've still been extremely busy. Hopefully you've been keeping in touch with our information and news briefings as well. And I would urge any of you not signed up to our newsletter to get signed up. If you go onto our website, you can go on top right, there's a contact us button. If you go on there, you can actually sign up to our newsletter, and that way you'll be kept in touch with various training information and so on as well. A couple of things from the newsletter that I just wanted to point out before I hand over to Jodie and Jane for their updates is City of Lincoln Council. Paul, you're probably going to mention this as well, but they have a Vision 2025 and budget consultation going on at the moment. This is part of their strategic planning for the next 3 years. They're welcoming comments by the 10th of February. So, you know, those details are on our newsletter, should also be on our website. So please, you know, do have your say in that. I think it's really important the voluntary sector has a voice into those sort of consultations. I'm going to hand over to Jodie for a start, just to tell us a little bit about some training information.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Diane. So we've got quite a lot of training already planned in our diary for the next 6 months, and we have produced a bit of a training event booklet, I will send out to all you guys after this meeting. And so just to let you know what's coming up, obviously we will continue. We've actually planned our forums for linking for the rest of the year. So we already got the dates in the diary for that. So the next one will be the 20th of April, then the 20th of July, and then the 19th of October. So they'll be all Wednesdays, all 10:30 to about 12 o'clock. So they're coming up. So we've also got some funding ready workshops going on. And so that will take you through obviously how to put in a funding application form. And the first delivery of them, so we've got five sessions, and the first delivery of that will be Wednesday the 25th of April, going through to the 25th of May, and that will be on Zoom. But our second delivery, it will be in person at the Lincolnshire Action Trust, and that starts on Wednesday the 8th of June, going through to the 29th of June for that. We have got some digital fundraising workshops. Obviously, with the pandemic, digital fundraising has become even more popular and more important because the traditional ways of fundraising has not been able to happen. So we've got some sessions coming up with that, and they're in two parts. One's around growing and engaging your audience online, and that's on Monday the 28th of February. And the second part is around just fundraising platforms and campaigns, and that's on Monday the 7th of March. And we've got a couple more. We're doing that again later on in the year in July and September. And finally, we're running our volunteer management workshops again, and which I know Jane might pick up on, and that starts on Thursday the 10th of March, running through to Thursday the 7th of April, and they're all on our Eventbrite page. You can book onto any of them right now. So that's all our training coming up till about July time. So that's all our training. Just to let you know also that we are encourage you to also follow our social media pages, because we have started posting out volunteering opportunities on there, and also funding opportunities on a Tuesday and Thursday. A variety of different funding opportunities on there on a Tuesday and Thursday as well. So do follow our Facebook page, our Twitter, and also our Instagram, and that's just Voluntary Centre Services for free. And I think that's about it. And obviously, again, of course, you go on to sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already done so. I know Diane said you can do it from the contact us page, but you actually can do it from our home page now, Diane, as well. So
right, thanks, Jodie. Yeah,
so you can do it from there as well. And obviously, I'll put a link in the description if anyone wants to sign up as well on that one. I think that's about it as well from me. So I'm just very much here if anyone has any group support, if you need any help with funding, training, volunteer management, policies and procedures, anything really. So I'm always here.
That's lovely. Thanks, Jodie. And we'll pop back to you just at the end of this section. So Jane, just over to you really on things volunteering.
Yeah, thank you for that. So a little bit of crossover. I was also going to mention the newsletter, but also do please send in articles that you want to include in the newsletter, as well as signing up for it. So anything that you would like us to share, please let us have that. The website as well. I know Jodie's done quite a bit of work on that. It has changed quite a bit. So if you haven't seen it recently, do take a look, and particularly on the volunteering section. We list all current opportunities that we are helping to recruit volunteers for. That normally gets updated every couple of weeks or so, but it's really helping people to see what's out there at the moment as they're searching. And we are seeing an awful lot of appointments coming through for volunteering where people have just been on the website and seen things. So that's really good. Just in terms of the volunteer centre, as Diane said, we are still doing all appointments by phone at the moment, but we are having a look at, going forward, how we're going to start to increase capacity and also start doing some appointments face to face. So that's really exciting. But the appetite for volunteering is very much out there. So if you need any help in terms of recruiting volunteers, new opportunities that you have, anything like that, do please let me know. We have been doing a pilot project recently with the medical school at the University in Lincoln. So they've got a cohort of students who are looking to get involved in community volunteering, which is fantastic. And so we are supporting that at the moment. So if you do see an increase, any of you that are organisations that have opportunities that are appropriate, and you see an increase in the number of medical students coming to you, that's why we have tried to give people a bit of a heads up that that's happening at the moment. And then just a couple of specific requests. So we've got one particular volunteer who's currently doing an accountancy qualification and is looking for a volunteer role. And we don't have much on our database at the moment that relates to that. Obviously not qualified, so wouldn't want anything too taxing, pardon the pun, but if you do, just thought of that just right now, if any of you do have any opportunities that would be appropriate for someone who is studying accountancy exams, then do please have a chat with me outside of this meeting today. It'd be great to hear about that. And my final request is that BT often come to us to try and sort out a staff team ESV kind of day. Ian, I know you've helped fairly recently with an opportunity. We've got 2 further requests from BT, one of a team of about 8 and one we think of a team of about 10 people. So if any of you have a one-off opportunity for a BT staff team, again, do please let me know. Contact me, either pop details in the chat or contact me outside of this meeting. I'll just drop my email in the chat. So I think that's everything from me. Thanks, Diane.
Perfect, thank you. Just trying to unmute myself there. Any questions on anything that we're doing at the minute? That's fine. One thing we do want to do is we want to do a bit of a straw poll today. So I've asked Jody if he could set something up that you could be completing. Well, I'll let Jody explain how it's going to work, but basically we want to ask you about coming back to in-person meetings for sector forums like this one. So we'd love to know whether particularly, I mean, we're going to do the July one as an in-person one, weren't we, Jody? But we're thinking about April and how you feel about meeting together in person or still carrying on doing virtual, and going forward whether virtual meetings still work for you. So I'll hand over to Jody just to explain how that poll's going to work.
Yeah, Diane, so I'm just going to launch a quick poll. It should hopefully come up on your screens, and you've got an option of whether you want to continue to have these forums online or whether you may prefer to go face to face. So we just want to get a bit of a scroll poll of how people are feeling. So I'm going to launch the poll now and see. So just give me a shout. So hopefully, can everyone see that come up?
Not yet.
It might take a while.
Okay, cool.
But I know people are answering it now, so.
Oh, that's okay. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. Well, in that case, while that's going on, because I think you're going to leave that open, Jody, aren't you? So if I can welcome Jackie Kirk. Thanks very much for coming along today, Jackie. And I know you want to tell us a little bit about JAQS Trust, so excited to hear that. So over to you for the first slot. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. It's great to be here, and I've been attending these meetings off and on where I can over the last about 8-9 months anyway. So thank you, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to try and explain things in a little bit more depth. So I've been working on trying to set up a charity. It's a bit of a minefield. And where I started in May and where I am now are in two different places almost, really. Not quite what I was expecting, but it's how things have transpired, really. So the original plan was to set up a whole new charity, and then sort of halfway, 3/4 way along, it was worked out better to just pick up a very old charity of St Mary le Wigford and bring it back to life, really. So so that was sort of November, December time, and I've done quite a bit of work prior to that on reading up about charities and things. So as much as I've been trustee for several different charities over the duration of my 10 years in politics, actually running a charity is a completely different kettle of fish, really, and you have to look at things in a little bit more in depth. So St Mary le Wigford, I've been church warden and treasurer for the last 10 years, just over 2011, when I took over as church warden, treasurer and secretary for the church because everybody walked out. And subsequently I've been looking after the church's bank accounts, 3 of them for that duration. But we've never actually really engaged with the charities themselves, which have basically been laid dormant since they were last updated in 1977. So in the background, the vicar, Reverend Jeremy Cullimore, has been acquired a solicitor to try and get some put some life back into these charities, but that sort of started probably about 3 or 4 years ago. Due to the pandemic and the solicitor himself being off work for a considerable amount of time, the progress got delayed considerably. So thankfully, back in the back end of November last year, the Charity Commission agreed to reduce the amount of charity numbers that we had, because we actually got 4 in total, and bring them all in line. So we now have 1 charity number and 2 linked charities. So the reason why I was sort of going off trolling down one road was because Jeremy kept telling me we were only going to have 1 charity. So that was hence the reason. And then when it transpired, the other 2 charities are still there, and they're there as linked charities. So that kind of changed my direction of flow. And so the old Relief in Need charity, which was set up in 1977, was set up, and it's listed as a scheme, which nowadays terminology most people probably have never heard of. But it's a scheme to help and support people in relation to relief in need, and everything is within that context. So going back about 18 months ago, and my lead up to my mayoral year, and trying to work out what charity I wanted and what support I wanted to help in relation to the pandemic, it was obvious, and as time rolled on, that mental health and supporting the residents of the city with their mental health, it was paramount, really. And obviously also the additional health issues that have cropped up because of long COVID and several other aspects that in relation to education, training, and people needing to look for different jobs, and because the jobs that they had, businesses have closed down because of the pandemic and everything else. So there's a whole group of problems and issues that's risen over the last 2 years. And within the governance document, the old 1977 governance document, everything is already incorporated within the Relief in Need charity to help and support people in whatever context that they need support in. All the words, everything is there. The only problem is with it the fact that it was written in 1977, and some of the wording and some of the bits that was on offer is now statutory service provision within adult social care and doesn't need to be in there. And the wording, as far as the old words for what was is now the DWP. So it was a case of just, how do I actually get round the wording and everything else and actually make it fit for purpose in today's society. So I've had 4 telephone conversations with the Charity Commission over the last 6 weeks. to try and work out what I can do, what I can't do. And every time I just sort of ring up, oh yes, it's a legal document, it's legally binding, and you can't change anything. So there's two things. There's me carrying on trying to get all the bits of paperwork and everything set up to actually be able to start doing something. And in the background, there's still work going on in relation to the charities, of which are now named the Historical Charities of Wigford, rather than St Mary's, St Benedict's and St Mark's Historical Charities. So that's now been changed. The other two are still in progress. The Historical Charities of Wigford, which is the main charity, with the other two linked, now has an aims and objects of 10 within the whole 15 that are stipulated within the u.gov website, that can be used. So in a future plan is one thing. What we can do now to try and help and support everybody in the residents of the city is what I'm concentrating on. So there is going to be more work and further progress in relation to the Historical Charities of Wigford itself, but that's going to be trolling on at a very, very snail pace in the background. So there will be further help and assistance and widening. Alongside this, recently, although it's not to be put out in the general public, St Mary Wigford will be taking over control of St Benedict's, and in the not so distant but a bit more future, also taking over control of St Mary Wigford Church from the diocese. So that's in context with the Historical Charities of Wigford. In the meantime, JAQS Trust is being set up and reinvigorated to help and support the residents in need in relation to health issues, support for education, mental health, and any other bits and pieces that an individual might need help and support with. So it really is a very wide reaching I'm trying to think of the word. It incorporates just about everything really that you want it to. So at the moment, what I've been working on for the last couple of months is trying to get the documentation sorted, and in the last couple of weeks, it's policies and procedures. So I am almost, as I keep saying to everybody, I'm nearly there, promise, honest. And also the promotional material and reaching out and networking and everything in. It's a bit of this, a bit of that, and a bit of the other. So I am absolutely very, very, very close to doing that official launch to try and start getting the fundraising side sorted. So as much as we do have some funds in the CCLA account, that's going to take months to sort out. As with everything else, it's a very slow progress, but trying to get some money in ASAP really to try and start supporting people. I'm also in the process of sorting out partnership agreements with NW Counselling Hub for them to provide the services and me just to provide the funds basically. So it's a conduit for funds, and with the integrated care services that's ongoing, and the social prescribers, the people that are out there and dealing with the people that have problems and issues that need resolving, and they need that finance to help and support them. It's just mainly going to be a conduit for cash really, and referrals. I think that's about it really. I hope. So yeah, the other I have been having conversations with LPFT as well. So that's running in the background.
Thanks, Jackie. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for that overview. And it's going to be called JAQS Trust, is that right? Any sorry.
Yeah, incorporated with HCW, which is the Historical Charities of Wigford. So it's HCW, JAQS Trust, and the Relief in Need. So until we actually get a new governing document in and accepted by the Charity Commission, I have to stick with the 1977 old framework, which I've tweaked to represent today's language. and what people will understand.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions for Jackie? Jackie, I think you're well linked into Jodie, so yeah, any support that can be given along the way. And I mean, what I love about today, as you'll hear as people present, is just how much vibrant, excellent work is happening in Lincoln. So it's just good that there are so many strands to supporting, particularly those who are most vulnerable in society. Thanks so much, Jackie.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Paul if he would unmute himself then and talk to us about another project which sounds exciting, which is Lincoln Embracing All Nations.
Thanks, Diane. Apologies, it's a little bit echoey. I'm stuck in our room coverage, got quite a bit going on in the office this morning. So yeah, apologies for that. For those who don't know me, my name is Paul Carrick. I work for the City of Lincoln Council. Been here quite a long time. I think this is my 27th year at the council. Majority of that time I've been working in neighbourhoods. I think I've pretty much worked in every neighbourhood in the city now, I think. But for the past 3 or 4 years, we've solely focused on Sincil Bank. Leading the regeneration project, looking at delivering some really exciting sort of physical interventions, looking at building new houses, sort of resident parking schemes, working with the county council. We think we're just very close to announcing that we've got £3 million from the town investment fund to do some work about the highways infrastructure and creating sort of new green open spaces in Sincil Bank. So a lot of physical interventions, but obviously we can't do those physical interventions without supporting people in the neighbourhood as well. So a big passion of mine. So yeah, not here to talk about my sort of general work in Sincil Bank, but focus on an organisation that we've been working really hard to set up called Lincoln Embracing All Nations. So a bit of background. Apologies, this is a bit sort of muddled up. I seem to have lost all sort of concept of time during the past 2 years. Everything's sort of blurred and sort of merged into one. But yeah, during the past couple of years, we're doing slightly a different role, but having sort of conversations with communities about how they were faring during COVID, what were their experiences, were people getting access to advice and guidance, did people fully understand rules? Not sure if any of us did at different points, but at that point, the groups that I was talking to was telling me similar sorts of things. And the upshot of that was that people didn't know where to get information and advice. We were able to connect people to our welfare advice team. So, for example, we had the Afghan community come and talk to our welfare advice team, the Bulgarian community on the different sort of financial support that was available. We were also having conversations with people at the NHS who was when we were talking about sort of testing, how to set up testing sites in the city, vaccinations, how we can reach out to communities that don't speak English as a first language. I also, again, we've been sort of in and out of the office during this period, but the times that we were in the office, we had people come to see us for advice and guidance around all sorts of different things. The EU settlement scheme, school admissions, housing advice, welfare advice. We also had funders coming to us to say, how can we get funding out to groups in the city that don't speak English as a first language, because groups aren't applying, groups aren't getting their share of the funding that's available. So there's all these, and apologies because it does sound a bit of a muddle, but there's all these different conversations happening in a short period of time. So with that in mind, we thought it'd be useful just to bring the groups together. So that's exactly what we did. Obviously, during the pandemic, it was via Zoom. We still haven't actually met face to face, but we were able to bring the Islamic Association of Lincoln together, smaller groups like the Bulgarian group, the Bangladeshi group, the East Timorese community, the Afghan community, the Christian Redeemed Church of God, which supports our African community in the city. We were able to just bring all those communities together just initially for informal conversations. Those conversations kept going. Again, and out of those conversations started to come a view that we need to look at doing something in the city to develop the infrastructure for organisations that support people that don't speak English as a first language, particularly around advice and guidance, but also as a conduit between organisations and those communities. And it wasn't just the NHS, but quite a few communities sort of felt that they couldn't reach out to those groups in the city. So having identified a need, there became sort of further conversations about what the aspirations of that group might look like. The group have got quite ambitious ideas to look at a shared space in the city, which will be a focal point for our communities that don't speak English as first language, to provide advice and guidance, but almost just like a home for our sort of diverse communities that we have in Lincoln. We know that's going to be a long-term aim, and that's quite ambitious. So in the meantime, we thought, could we do something virtual? Could we have like a virtual community centre? So we were fortunately able to get £11,000 working with different partners, and we've used that to commission Optima to develop our website. So that website will house sort of information about different services, sort of immigration, health, education, support from the voluntary centre, funding advice, it's basically a guide on who to contact, identify the sort of different support needs that communities have. The difference between the website is that information will be automatically translated into 10 different languages. So it's quite expensive. It's been quite difficult to get recording. But we have the sort of design there now. We just need to populate it. So I'll be probably contacting people around the room now in the next sort of couple of weeks for information to populate the website. So that's pretty much there. The second piece of work, we've heard from different groups. The group has heard from different groups across the country over the past couple of months who are doing similar things. So we've heard from an organisation in Hull, and we've developed a relationship with an organisation called JAQS in Great Yarmouth, who have been doing this work for the past 20 years in Great Yarmouth. Quite a similar size to Lincoln, quite similar in terms of the sort of demographics of Great Yarmouth. It's a coastal town, so there are differences. But we've been able to, again, be successful with the grants that will see JAQS working with Lean for the next 12 months, focusing on things in the first instance like the governance, so talking them through that, setting up a charity, but really moving on their sort of their main ambition, which is to have that shared space in the city. So a bit of a feasibility study, looking at where that might be, how it might be staffed, how it might be funded, all those different things. So in a short period of time, we've come quite a long way. There's still, and sorry, the other thing over the next 12 months is around capacity building as well. So some of the groups are well established. So the Islamic Association has been around in Lincoln since the early 80s, but we have groups like the Bulgarian group. Jodie's recently been supporting the East Timorese group. So the Bulgarian group, for example, are 3 or 4 people. They've been on a bit of a journey. Some of the members have moved back home to Bulgaria, so they're constantly having to sort of reinvent themselves. So the groups are sort of different in size, different in sort of on their journey. So I think we need to do some capacity building with each of those groups, with the support of JAQS, with the support of people around the room today. So we've come quite a long way in a short period of time. I think it's really important that we have a sort of an infrastructure organisation in the city to connect to the different communities. I'm still sure that many people in the city don't know we have an East Timorese community of sort of 300 to 400. The work that Pastor Vera does, the Christian Redeemed Church of God, supporting African and Caribbean communities in the city. I'm sure that a lot of people don't know that work exists. So I think it's right that we celebrate the amazing diversity we have in Lincoln, but we also find a better way of reaching out to those communities and providing people with the support and advice that they need.
Well, thanks, Paul. I know you said you've lost track of time in the pandemic, but I think you've absolutely made the best use of time. I'm going to ask people if they've got questions. I can see that Julie already has, so I'm going to hand over to you first, Julie.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that, Paul. It sounds fantastic, the work you're doing. I just wonder if you and I can link together. I don't know if you recall, I know you've been on meetings I've been on previously, but I lead on Connect to Support Lincolnshire. And I think there's an awful lot we can do together to save you a lot of work, because obviously Connect to Support Lincolnshire has got all health and well-being information on there. I have recently been looking at some work about information in alternative formats and languages. For example, on Connect to Support, we've got coronavirus information and links to a site with about 67 different languages. we've got one new Lincolnshire information now in various other languages, but I'm just thinking how you want to populate your site. I think one link to Connect to Support would cover all the health and wellbeing stuff. So I wonder if you and I could just have a chat outside of this meeting into how we could link rather than sort of reinvent that wheel. I think the great work you've done, what we've got, that will really help support the work you're doing.
That'd be brilliant, Julie. Yeah, we've got our sort of first draft of the website now, so yeah, it's really good time to have that conversation. So yeah, I'll get in touch.
Yeah, shall I put my email address in the chat?
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks, Julie. It's good to see you on the call today as well. So that's really good.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Paul? It sounds like a fantastic initiative to me. Oh, Jackie's got her hand up. Her non-virtual, her real hand is up. Yeah, go on, Jackie.
It's faster. We need to meet up, Paul. I know I keep saying that, and I believe you may be going to the next meeting at the Bridge Church. We could probably have a quick chat. Are you off to the Bridge Church?
Yeah, go there at 12. So yeah,
catch up then.
Fantastic, good connection made. Okay, lovely. Anybody else got a question? Ian.
Yeah, just as an observation, really. This last year, I'm with Hearts Own Cricket Club, and we like to think we've always been inclusive. We always try. It's a very international sort of game, people from all over the world. But this last year, we've actually had 2 Russian families, a Japanese mother, a German family, 2 French families, all starting. The kids are starting cricket. But not the most bizarre, but the most interesting, I say, was that 2 mums were watching their, I think one's grandson and another daughter playing cricket at the sideline, and they were speaking Mandarin to each other. And one had been brought up, I'm not quite sure, in Hong Kong or close by, but one had actually left China at some stage. And I did once play against Americans playing cricket, which is a bit bizarre to hear American accents on a cricket field, but it would be quite something to have people speaking Mandarin on a cricket field. I just thought I'd mention that.
No, that's brilliant, Ian. And like I say, that's what I see initially the website can do. We can connect people to different opportunities that exist in the city.
Yeah, it's good that we've got such diversity in the city, and it's high time that we really kind of celebrated that. And I think a lot of our services would be very, very keen to be more diverse. You know, just thinking of our volunteer centre really, and the people we attract through the doors, we'd love to actually link into this initiative, Paul, and make sure that people understand and know about us as well, what we do. Any other questions? In that case, I'm going to hand over to Development Plus, because I know you're having a team approach. So I'm going to hand over to Lindsay first. And we really look forward to hearing from all your different projects, Lindsay. So over to you.
Thank you, Diane, and morning, everybody. My name is Lindsay. I'm CEO of Development Plus, a charity that's been based in Lincoln for 25 years. We have a focus on mental health and well-being, and through our projects we provide one-to-one coaching and mentoring, advocacy support, support groups and online courses. We have a focus in Lincoln, but some of our programs go as far as Sleaford, Grantham, Boston and all the bits in between. At the moment, we've got 7 programs running in various guises, and rather than me waffle on about those programs, I'm going to invite some of my team members to give you updates, which gives you good links with the team members as well. So I'm going to hand over to Becky first of all at Project Compass, which is our rough sleeper advocacy support program.
There we go. Morning, everybody. I'm Becky Frost. I'm lead on Project Compass, which is based at Lincoln Baptist Church on Croft Street. If you don't know it, it's at the end of the same road where Nomad, Corner House and the YMCA are. So in 2019, myself and a colleague were employed by Development Plus. That was the start of my journey with the team, to write a report on homelessness in Lincoln. And we spent several months out and about talking to people on the streets of Lincoln, particularly people who were rough sleeping or in homelessness services, about how they ended up in their situation, what they felt they needed to get out of it, and everything in between. And we spent time doing that and produced the report. As an upshot of the report, we found a gap. A number of the people that we were talking to weren't able to access services in town because they had been banned or asked to leave, or there were combinations of people that couldn't be together for a number of reasons. There were also people who were out and about, street homeless, who weren't accessing support at the council because they didn't know where to go. There was also an issue about having somewhere warm to be first thing in the morning, and getting something to eat. And what was happening was that there was essentially a kind of an informal homelessness group in McDonald's, which isn't suitable. So what we did was we started one. If there's a gap, you know, let's do it. So we initially said, let's just see how it goes. We'll see if anybody turns up. And it was myself and a colleague and a flask, and we just opened the doors of the Baptist church, and there were a couple of people having a bowl of cereal, and we started signposting them and carried on that talk about what people needed. It has absolutely exploded since then. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it, Lindsay? We now have 3 paid members of staff, myself and 2 others. We have a number of volunteers. We open for breakfast from 8 until 9:30 during weekdays. Then 9:30 till 1, people can access for a little bit more intense support. So that might be telephoning people, completing forms, coming in for a wash or to get changed, more meals if they want to, and meeting with other professionals. So essentially what we do is we provide a neutral space for people to talk to the professionals that they're involved with. So that might be to meet with their probation officer. It might be to meet the rough sleeper team from the council, but in a more neutral space, because a lot of people find that quite difficult. So there's it's really busy all the time, people having assessments, people making phone calls, but at the same time having hot chocolate, having some beans on toast, so that they're being nourished in lots of ways. And we're meeting those very basic needs. At the moment, the numbers of rough sleepers in Lincoln is at the lowest I have ever known it. It's absolutely superb, somewhere between kind of 0 and 1. And we're still really busy because there's lots of people on the outskirts of rough sleeping. So those who are in those in temporary accommodation, those who've been put into a hotel. So we're still looking after them, because if you've been put in a hotel, you're not necessarily going to get, well, you're not going to get breakfast. So people can still come here. Then if they get accommodation, we can make sure that they've got a bundle to take with them, so that they can access that accommodation and have food and a duvet and all those sorts of things. So we're very pliable. We do whatever it is that people need, and we signpost them, and we also signpost them on, as time moves, to other projects on Development Plus when we can see that they're ready. So it's busy all the time, loads of professionals, loads of people coming and going. It's kind of a drop in, and we, after all this time, have decided there was a gap, and we are filling it, and we're doing it really well. I'm very proud of everything that we've achieved here, and all the people that we work with.
Thank you, Becky. Okay, so we'll move to Graham of Bridging the Gap.
Good morning, everybody. So Bridging the Gap is another Development Plus project working primarily with people who've been involved in the criminal justice system. So we work with people who've been in prison primarily, or had an involvement within the last couple of years. The mainstay of it is supporting people, mentoring people, putting life goals together with them, and working alongside people to get to where they want to be in their lives. A lot of the people we're working with may have been street homeless when we first met them. They discharged from prison, NFA. So we may well have worked with Compass to pick people up at that stage. Others have been in accommodation but really struggled with the mental health and the isolation, so need that support. We work with all of the other agencies in the town, and I think what our speciality, I guess, is that we're able to build up levels of trust, perhaps, and longer term working with people that some of the statutory agencies are not able to do. We're not going to be breaching people, whereas their probation officer may do. So there's a difference in approach, perhaps, and we can act as advocates on people's behalf as well. So helping resolve benefit issues, helping resolve housing issues with local authority. So it gives us a bit more independence and the ability to form those more trusting relationships. There's been some great successes, which is, you know, what motivates us and keeps us going. And sometimes that is just helping to resolve some of those issues that people have fallen between the stools. They've fallen between the gaps between different statutory agencies' approach. And there may have been issues that needed to be resolved there, and we've been able to steer people through that. So that's the broad approach of what we do. Myself and a colleague, Kate Edgar, who run the project, as I say, we work across pretty much 35, 40-mile radius from Lincoln. Most of our participants are Lincoln based, but we're working with people up to Gainsborough and further south as well. So that's my brief overview. Thank you.
Thanks ever so much, Graham. Okay, I think I'll introduce you all now to our newest member, which is Alex Chambers. Alex works on our Step in the Right Direction programme funded through the CRF. Unmute yourself. She's getting there. Is it at the bottom of the screen, Alex? On the left-hand side. What I'll do, whilst Alex works out how to unmute herself, I will pass over to Ian, who also works on Step in the Right Direction programme in another area of the city.
Morning, everybody. It's lovely to see you all on this bright sunny morning. My name's Ian. I've been working with Development Plus for over a couple of years now. My role is as a coach and a mentor within the team, and I'm currently involved in facilitating 3 different projects or parts of projects. So the first one is a Step in the Right Direction, which is a coaching project which builds on the success that we'd had with Steps to Work last year. So the project started 1st of October, runs till 30th of September. And basically, we're involved in supporting people in the IMP and the Marina primary care network. So it covers Abbey, St Giles, Newport, Mine, right out to Willingham by Stowe, and then back into central Lincoln, Brayford University around Portland Street. So we offer free coaching. And we've got off to a flying start. We're working with 10 people at the moment around issues related to homelessness, finding work, training opportunities, volunteering opportunities, or people that are perhaps wanting to get reconnected into other social opportunities, perhaps after a period of adversity or feeling as though they've needed to take a bit of time out to deal with some trauma. So it's really interesting work, fascinating to work with people, and we're already having some good outcomes in terms of the project. So still got at least 10 places available. I'll put a poster in the chat in respect of that, if I can get it in, just to give you some further details. We pride ourselves really on being very welcoming, committed to people, flexible and open in our approach, and we're very proud as a team that we've managed to keep going throughout the pandemic, offering a service to people locally. So that's been fantastic. The other projects that I'm involved with are, I work with Kate Edgar on the pitch. So we facilitate a men's group that runs between 2 and 4 at the bridge every Thursday and provides a mixture of opportunities for socialising and games and chat and refreshment, either on site at the bridge or out and about at a whole host of different activities that we've completed together with the guys in the autumn and we're planning now for the spring once things free up a little bit more with Omicron. So again, that's been a fantastic project, very welcoming, and it's great to see Lois and you know, we're indebted to our partners at the bridge for the hospitality and the welcome they afford us there, because it's a great atmosphere and very welcoming group. So if you know of any men that are looking to get together between 2 and 4 on a Thursday, it might be feeling a bit isolated, we'd be delighted to welcome them. And then just finally, I've also I started my work with Development Plus in the migration fund project that was running in Sincil Bank, and very kindly I got some continuation funding from the neighbourhood, just to continue one day a week in terms of connecting people. So in the context of that work, we've managed to keep 2 long-standing coaching relationships going that have been very significant for the people involved, but also in concert with Paul and with Rachel down at the hub, we're planning now to go out door knocking again. In the context of the original project, we managed to get out to about 1,600 houses before COVID came. Now, within the context of this project, the extension, we're committed to visiting all 2,500 houses in the Sincil Bank area with information, and we've got a leaflet together. So we're hoping to do a watch this space thing in terms of the Lincoln Embracing All Nations, the Gardening Project St Andrews, the River Care Litter Picks, the Health and Welfare Cafe at Bridge, Community Grocery, the Conversation Club at LCF, the Pitch, Steps Coach in the Nightlight Cafe, and the Neighbourhood Team. We've got those leaflets at the moment translated into 6 or 7 different languages, and I'm hoping that we're going to get started either mid to late February or at the very latest early March to go door knocking again, because it's such a great opportunity to start talking to local residents in the Sincil Bank area and start connecting them into some of the fantastic opportunities that are in the neighbourhood and about which currently they might be just unaware. So it's about having conversations and making links in the hope that that helps people to take advantage of some of the great opportunities that are out there. So if you've got any referrals in terms of the Steps coaching, certainly got plenty of space. That project's going to run until the 30th of September. And as I say, there are at least 10 spaces available. And if you know anybody that'd like to come to the pitch, we're at the bridge between 2 and 4 on a Thursday. And for any of you that are in the Sincil Bank area, I look forward to working with you and seeing where the projects take us. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Ian. Alex, how are you doing?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, that's a relief. Sorry about that, technical difficulties. Hi, my name's Alex. I'm, as Lindsay says, I'm the newest member of Development Plus. My project, like Ian, it's a Steps project, but mine's with the CRF, so the Community Relief Fund. So working alongside organisations like JAQS and the Lincoln City Foundation, LEAP Network, YMCA. My project is helping adults overcome any barriers that they might be facing in order to get them into work. So it could be paid or voluntary work, or training, or on the pathway to work. So we offer one-to-one mentoring and coaching, and we tailor that to the client's needs. So each client will be completely individual and have a completely different sort of journey to take with us. It might be that our client is struggling with mental health or addiction, and we can signpost them into the right direction where they need to be, while supporting them ourselves. Because we're in collaboration with all these really helpful companies, there's someone we can always go to point them in the right direction, hence the name Step in the Right Direction. And as I say, we tailor to suit everybody, so there really is something for everybody, and we can do we can serve for quite intensive needs as well. I do have some clients that have quite a lot of needs, and we are good at helping them and getting them to where they need to be. So yeah.
Thank you, Alex. And just to say, Alex has just started, so she's got lots of spaces for referrals at the moment. So we'll make sure all of Alex's flyers get sent around to everybody too. Perhaps we can put that in the chat box in a minute as well. Last but not least is our Better Together team. So I think I've got Claire and Stuart both here. So I'll let you guys update everybody.
Okay, I'll start. I was going to start and then I was going to introduce Stuart to do the second part of our little presentation. So Better Together is not a new project. It's actually been running for 3 years. It's been funded by the Community Fund from the lottery. So hopefully some of you will know about Better Together, but it's actually a partnership of 3 local Lincoln charities, including ourselves, Green Synergy and Abbey Access Training. So across the project, there's 5 workers. And our aim is simply to support and empower people with poor mental health. We want them to come together with a tailor-made project, which is person-centered, it's flexible, it works around them, and to improve their well-being, whatever that looks like for them. So we do it at their own pace, and we offer activities and opportunities that can help them to overcome barriers to move them forward in their own lives. So Development Plus, I lead on the Development Plus side of the project, which really offers the option of mentoring and coaching. People who come onto the programme don't always want to be mentored, but a lot do, and we work out this flexible programme around them according to what it is that they have identified that would help support their well-being going forward. Green Synergy offers therapeutic gardening sessions twice a week, and that's up at a 2.5 acre garden up near the hospital. It's very sort of secret on the Tower estate. Not many people know about that garden, but and when we talk about gardening, a lot of people will say, well, I'm not interested in gardening, but actually it's a beautiful place to come in the heart of the city, to sit, to be part of a group, and to feel safe. It's a really safe, lovely space to come to. Abbey Access offers wellbeing workshops, things like cooking, one-to-one cooking. We offer art classes, health-based walks, life skills and learning opportunities. And in the second phase of our project, which is now continuing for the next 2.5 years, we're offering more peer group and peer support groups. So we're developing people to come together and develop their own social networks, so that and the capacity for themselves to be part of and influence what kind of things that they would like to do in terms of activities. So we are then therefore taking applications. I'm going to hand you over to Stuart to tell you how that might, or what that would look like.
It's Claire. Hello, everybody. Nice to see everybody online today. So I'm also a mentor on the Better Together project. I, alongside Claire, did the first 3 years. We've had some great successes, including people that have actually ended up getting into work. I mean, we are a pre-employment project, but we've been lucky enough to get like several people jobs as well. So a typical person that would take on, we end up like mentoring them one-to-one to start off with, building their confidence and self-esteem. And one guy that we've been working with, it was a long journey, doing that one-to-one stuff, like trying to really work out who he was, what made him tick, and then sort of like introducing him very slowly to the garden, and then across to the guys at Abbey Access as well, where we did some one-to-one cooking, and then went into a larger group. In the end, he ended up on Kickstart, and then was offered a full-time job at, I think, Carousel, doing some catering up there. So that was one of our success stories. Other people we sort of have on the team don't potentially get into jobs, but it's about sort of keeping them level so they don't go backwards. The fact that they actually turn up to things is a real positive thing. So we've got people that will turn up to the garden for weeks on the trot, and then they will have a little bit of a dip. But the good thing about our project is that it's step by step. It's baby steps, so we can invite them back on. So we've had quite a few referrals already for the new project, which starts now, from the network, Leaving Care, social prescribing, the NHS and Headway as well. We're still taking referrals for the project. So, and as Claire says, the difference between the last 3 years and now, we're going to be doing more group stuff as well, including art classes, regular art classes and regular mindfulness classes. So if you do want to refer in, it's 18 plus, living in the Lincoln and surrounding villages area. That's the difference between the last project and this one. We have sort of widened it out slightly to incorporate the villages around Lincoln. Just drop us an email. I think the leaflet that Lindsay's just put in the chat may have an email address on. I'll also put in the chat Claire's email address and mine as well. So yeah, just drop us an email if you want to know more, then we'll be happy to do that. The other project that I run for Development Plus is the Feel Good project, which is outside of Lincoln. That's in Grantham and Sleaford. So if you have any contacts out that way, where you feel people would benefit from some mindful well-being classes that are run weekly mainly on Zoom, but we do some meeting up as well, then just give us a call or just drop us an email. So they, as I said, Sleaford and Grantham areas. I think that's it from us.
Thank you, Stuart and Claire. So the final project that we haven't, Andy couldn't join us today, unfortunately, is the men's group. Men's group is, again, a social group for men that have been through the criminal justice system. It's very much technology focused, creating music, creating videos and films. It's based up at St Faith's Church in the city. Claire, can you remind me, it's every Thursday afternoon, isn't it, I believe?
Yeah, it's every Thursday from 12:30 till about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, and I know Andy's got spaces, so we'll make sure all that information goes out as well. So they are all the projects that Development Plus deliver. We're very much focused on journeys, personal journeys, journeys within the organisation, and then journeys with partners outside of the organisation. We always make sure that someone has somewhere to go to, whether it's internally or externally. And we're incredibly grateful for all the partners across the city that we work for. We don't believe that we can provide anything to one individual on our own. It's very much about working together in partnership with other organisations, and that's Development Plus. If anybody's got any questions, please fire them through. No, we'll put all the links to all our contact details in the chat.
Thank you, Lindsay. I mean, and thank you to all of you. You're doing superb work. We know we are. We know how many social prescribing referrals we've pushed through to you over the years. But yeah, you know, fabulous organisation, and Project Compass. That's amazing as well. And just incidentally, Becky, I was out on Saturday night and actually thought, where are all the homeless people? And I was really worried actually about where are they all. But that is fantastic news to hear that that number is really, really down now. So thanks for that update as well. Yeah, guys, if you can pop your details into the chat, and then please, Jodie sends out anyway some notes, minutes. There is a recording of all this anyway. Please do be in touch, especially if you do have questions that you'd like to have answered. Right, lovely. Well, we'll come to that time of the meeting where we can actually share a bit of news amongst everyone. So perhaps if I just go through my list of individuals, if I forget you, please pipe up. I'm absolutely shocking at sometimes missing somebody out, and seriously, I don't mean to. So I've got I've got some funny names here, so I'm not sure. There's somebody that's on as admin. Is anybody?
That's me.
That's you. Did you want to
it's Claire.
So it's Claire. So Claire, is there anything else you wanted to add?
You're on mute, Claire.
Sorry. Only to invite referrals to our art club. It's a small group of people. We are now going to be meeting at Homer House on Monson Street, and we start next Tuesday at 1 o'clock with some clay work. It doesn't matter about what kind of skill level you're at, whether you, but having obviously an interest in making and creating and being in a supportive group with like-minded people, we very much welcome people to come and attend. If you just drop me a line, I'll put my number in the chat.
Thank you, Claire. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Chambers. That is.
Hi.
Hello, sorry. Yeah, I hate calling you by your surname. It's Alex, isn't it, Alex?
Alex,
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right.
Any other bits and pieces from yourself?
No, just if anybody has any referrals.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, basically, this is an opportunity for others that perhaps haven't been speakers to have some input as well. So that's fine. Thanks, Alex. Anne-Marie.
Hi everyone, I'm Anne-Marie and I work for Headway Lincolnshire, which is a local brain injury charity. We are open for referrals. We are back doing face-to-face visits, and groups did start back. They was cancelled in December and January, but we are starting back in February. So these are in Lincoln, Spalding, Grantham and Boston. As I say, we are open to referrals for brain injury survivors and their families as well. We can offer a counselling for carers service. We have got some exciting news coming up regarding a conference. So there's going to be a brain injury conference happening in Lincolnshire. So that's not until October, but all the details will be sent out. Very keen to get connected with anybody that works with the homeless, works with the criminal justice system. We have been working with the prisons. Around 50% of prisoners have a brain injury. So we are working with those at the moment. And again, with the homeless, around 50% of homeless people have a brain injury as well. So really keen to provide them with support. Offering a hybrid service, so that's going to continue. We've actually got 2 people now working at Headway Lincolnshire, which is fantastic because it's just been me on my own for the last 11 years. So we've got Sue that's joining us in an admin role. So she's taken on some of the hybrid support. We've been taken on as Shooting Star PR and marketing agency this year, so really hoping for good things from them with regard to raising awareness of brain injury and its effects in the community. And we're in for the Lincoln City FC Charity of the Year as well, so voting closes tomorrow for that, so fingers crossed for that as well. So that's all from me, thank you.
Oh, that's lovely, Anne-Marie, thank you. We'll have to have you do a session at some point as well in the coming years. That'd be good to hear from you.
Happy to.
Lovely. Becky, anything more from yourself? Yeah. No. Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute.
Oh, sorry.
Don't know why.
That's annoying.
No,
Yeah,
it was messing about.
Yeah.
No, I have some cards if anybody wants them, some which you're able to give to people that you think might need signposting to us. They're directly for users and professionals. So yeah, you can contact me on my number if you would like some of those. But other than that.
Fabulous. Thanks, Becky. That's great. Hannah.
Is that me, Hannah? I think there were 2 Hannahs.
It's you, Hannah, at the moment. Yes. So yeah.
Okay. Hi.
Sorry.
So hello everyone. I work for BRIC, which is Building Resilience in Communities. So we were formerly Home Start, but Home Start Lincolnshire has become BRIC, which is something that happened at the beginning, sort of just as the pandemic hit, I think. So actually, I think it's not as widely known as it needs to be. So yeah, please spread the word. Home Start in Lincolnshire is now called BRIC. We mainly work in the same way. So our main project is that we work supporting families in the home. Volunteers go into the home, which we have just started doing again, because we've gone remote sort of before Christmas, but we are just beginning to do face-to-face support in the home as well. Back to that. So the main difference from Home Start is we now work with any family where the youngest child is up to 11, because I think Home Start just used to work with slightly younger children. So yes, please refer any families that just need a volunteer that can come in and offer sort of, it's a very wide range of support, can be with mental health, can be with things like just household management, obviously child development and managing children's behaviour and routines, just for emotional support, all kinds of support. And then the other project that we do is we do these sort of gardening clubs for families to kind of get referred to, and then obviously take the children along for some, you know, outdoor time, good quality time together as a family in the outdoors doing gardening. So we've actually just set one up in Lincoln, and we're looking for families to be referred into that service. So please do get in touch with Brick if we can, if you've got a family that you think would benefit from something like that as well.
Oh, thanks, Hannah. That's great as well. And yeah, another organisation does some fantastic stuff. Thank you. We have 2 Dawns, so I'm going to invite each of them to say something. So yeah, whichever one wants to start.
Hi.
Well, I'll let you go.
Okay, thank you. So I'm Dawn Nightingale, and I'm Lincoln Community Larder Coordinator, and we have several outreaches across Lincoln, also going sort of to surrounding villages, etc. So obviously we give out a 3-day supply of food. So if anybody isn't a referrer and wants to get in touch, I'll put my details on in a moment. So yes, I've not heard of a couple of the places. I've been in touch with some, but not all of you. So it'd be nice if anybody needs to access. Throughout COVID, well, I think just before COVID, actually, we went online. So now it's not a paper referral, it's all online. So if you're not a referrer and you want to be, let me know. And then we can support all of you with anybody who needs food.
Thanks, Dawn. It's lovely to see you on the call. And I'm glad if you've made a few new connections. As I say, those details will be coming out. So that's brilliant. Good to see you. Thanks. Right, the other Dawn.
Morning, everybody. I'm Dawn Kay. I'm from Lincolnshire Community Health Services in their volunteer service team. And I say that very grandly, there's only 2 of us. The trust is quite a small trust, so it's not been until quite recently that we've taken a coordinated approach to volunteering and sort of recruiting volunteers for the trust. So we're just building up our different opportunities, encouraging our different teams to consider, what might, a volunteer do to help. So we're trying to sort of spread the message internally, as well as get the message out, across Lincolnshire that we are actually looking for volunteers. So we've definitely had an increase in sort of expressions of interest, particularly this month. We've gone from previously a handful, and then we've kind of had 40 expressions of interest so far, 20 of which have been for our urgent treatment centre. And like I say, Jane, I suspect a lot of this is off the back of your interactions with the medical school and such. So we've had 20 expressions of interest and then 10 applications. So for me, I think that's quite a good conversion to work within our trust in the urgent treatment centre. So things are starting to pick up. I think my kind of what we're realising is that obviously it's the modern world, and things sort of is heavily, on social media and such. So we have started putting our adverts on the voluntary centre services sort of open page. So my ask of people, just like yourselves, if you don't mind, if you see it, just share it, and then it'll be that little ripple effect. And then the more people that it's out and sort of crosses people's eyes, they potentially might know somebody who might be interested in whatever opportunity we've got out at the minute. And that's it for me. Thank you.
That's lovely. Thanks, Dawn. Thanks very much. Donna.
Hello. Hi. So I'm a little bit. I can't take my camera off. Sorry. Oh, I can. Hello. Sorry. I've come from a little bit of a different background. So obviously, I work for a charity, a nationwide charity, but we have a lot of volunteers based locally within the Lincolnshire area. All our volunteers work within their local communities. What we do, I work for AbilityNet. I don't know if anybody have heard of you, but we deal with accessibility to making close the digital divide. We sorry, my words have all gone. You all had a good presentation and I've lost it, but yeah, so we basically want to help people get onto tech. So the age range and the people we normally work with are over 55s, and any age if you have any form of disability, whether it be mental health or physical disability. We have volunteers that actually give one-to-one tech support in the client's own home. So we have a referral service, which I'll put my email on if anybody wants to contact me, but I'll also put the link to the referral form. So if you know anybody that needs help with learning how to internet shop, setting up an Alexa, setting a tablet up, something along those lines, a lot of the support we do offer is very just basic support. We go out for a block of time. It's not like we go out, we show them how to do it. Our volunteers go out and they spend however long it takes for that individual to learn what they want to get from their tech devices.
That is really excellent. Thank you for that. And I'll be coming back to you as well, I think, to do a session for us as well. Dawn, I just noticed you had your hand up. Dawn Nightingale, just very briefly there.
I was having problems typing on the chat, but I've done it now. So
oh, okay. All right, that's fine. Yeah, just wanted to make sure. Emma.
Morning. I'm from HW Links and Healthwatch Lincolnshire, and just to say we've got a couple of surveys out at the moment. We're working with care homes for the next few months, so we'd be interested to hear from anybody that's either left or applying for care home jobs if you come across any of those people. Our Your Voice event, which is our expert panel event open to the public and to other groups, has been postponed from the 26th of January to the end of March now. So you may have had a flyer about that. I know it's come out on the VCS newsletter, so just be aware that's been postponed. And we are just continuing to gather feedback from the public in Lincolnshire about health and social care, and also offer signposting advice to anybody stuck in that system who need extra help or just need to know where to go to get some help. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Emma. Yeah, I was going to publicise your event on the 26th because it's today, and I thought, oh no, it's running at the same time as ours. So it's kind of there's another day. Yes.
I've lost track of time as well. So
there we go. Yeah, it's crazy time. Graham, was there anything else you wanted to add? No. I think it's a no from Graham. I think that's what he said. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much. And then the other Hannah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can hear you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Sorry, just the typical Zoom that I just couldn't start my video, so apologies. Hi, so I'm Hannah. I'm very new to the world of volunteering. This is my first forum, so please forgive me if I get a bit mumbly and nervous. So I'm working with the Lincolnshire Action Trust. So we currently work with people who are or have been on some way in form being in the criminal justice system. So usually that works with people on probation, and we can offer a wide range of services, whether that be helping them get into work or volunteering positions, whether that be helping them set up things like benefits, getting back into just their general communities, to kind of embedding those social skills that they may have been restricted of previously. So I am my new role is called the Learning and Development Officer, but really it's just volunteer coordinator, and it's been a great opportunity to kind of get connected into what my community volunteering is doing. So it's been fantastic to kind of meet you all. So what we're currently doing is all of our volunteering activity was previously just stopped from COVID. We couldn't really do anything. Our service users can't really access the needs that they have from doing online forums and things like that. So it was quite difficult to try and get that back up and running. So we currently are taking referrals for people which may need our services at any point, and we do work with men, women and occasionally children as well if necessary. So we have quite a wide group of people, quite a wide demographic. But what my key intention is really is to try and get some volunteers and some mentors. So I appreciate that Lincolnshire has some fantastic people within our communities what can offer those great services. So I'm looking for people which can maybe offer an hour or two a week to meet with people which just need a little bit more support, whether that be just a little bit of company company. So meeting them for a coffee or for a walk, or engaging in some community work or something like that once a week. It could also be simply just meeting up with new people and just a little bit of support, getting back into something like paid or voluntary employment. It could be, because some people do have to completely restart their lives, it could be just finding new networks and connections within the community. So that would be fantastic to try and get some volunteers to help us with that. And we also run a range of different projects, whether that be with our women's group and our women's service. So again, that's women on probation, or who have been in probation, who just require a little bit more support integrating well back into society. Our personal wellbeing service, that's again working with men in quite a very similar format, to be honest, in what our women's service is. And we've also got what we call the departure lounge up at HMP Lincoln. So men which are being discharged from prison, they quite often haven't got a fixed address, so they're being released NFA, and they haven't got anywhere to go or any family connections. So it could be that we help them find a place to stay that night. It could be referring them on to different agencies. It could be setting them up with benefits and things like that. And we're really keen to get some volunteers to help us in that departure lounge up at HMP Lincoln. So please, if you know anybody, I know the appetite's there for volunteers. It's just with me being so new to the role, it's starting to advertise that and things like that. So any support you can offer, you're obviously well established within the volunteering community and we're with some great people, so help.
Yeah, Hannah, you need to be linking to Jane. I saw Jane just put her hands up, but we can absolutely help you to advertise those volunteering opportunities.
Thank you so much.
That meeting is pending, but anyone else too, if you're happy just to pop your details in the chat.
Definitely.
And also it will go out as well on the follow-up. Now I'm just noticing that we're very swiftly approaching 12 noon. I'm going to carry on doing these, but I am aware that people might have to hop off. So just a reminder, if you do have to hop off, that our next meeting is on the 20th of April. That is a Wednesday. It will be 10:30 till 12. Jodie, was there anything on the poll? Is the poll in yet, or shall we just send that out on the update?
Yeah, the poll is in and here's the results. So it's around 66% want it to be face to face. So
okay, lovely. All right, so we'll do some work on that then for next time round.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic, thank you. So if we just carry on going through so that people do get a chance to share their news if they would like to, and we'll be overrunning a little bit, so anybody that can stay, you're really welcome. So Heather from Age UK next.
Hello everyone. Yes, so I work for Age UK, Lincoln and South Lincolnshire, looking after the volunteers in the volunteering department. Obviously we have a lot going on, so I'm not going to go through everything because I'll be here all day. If anyone knows anyone 50 or over, our Park Street restaurant's open. We've got lots of activities going on, always looking for volunteers. It was interesting listening to all of your projects you've got going on. I do get a lot of referrals, particularly for befriending, but sometimes they're not really suitable, if you like. They can get out and about. So it's quite interesting that I probably might need some contact details because I might be able to do some referrals to other services. If I'll pop my email address down. If anyone wants to email me with what they do. Again, I've made notes, but probably not enough. And I'll see if I can help.
There'll be some notes coming out as well, Heather, so all is not lost.
Okay.
Yeah, lovely. Ian, did you want to go next? This is not Ian Dovey, so you're coming in next, Ian Dovey. It's the other Ian.
Nothing to add from me.
No, all right.
I've got all the details in the chat, so thanks very much for your time.
Perfect, thanks a lot, Ian. Ian Dovey.
Yay, got it. I just want to get kids and everybody playing cricket. You lot do all. I say this every time. You lot do all the serious. You're working with serious things, and I just want kids and everybody to play cricket. So you're all volunteering to play. Thank you very much. That's it. We run cricket from 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds upwards, softball, tennis ball, cricket. We've got 7 junior sides in increasingly competitive mode, but that's not what it's all about. It's just getting kids to play cricket. Big year for girls and women in cricket. Umpteen things happening, including the Commonwealth Games, which has got knockout cricket, women's cricket in it this year. So I just believe, as I say, everybody should play cricket. What else? Play park. I'm a trustee. Hearts End Cricket Club is next door to Lincoln United Football Club, and in the middle it was a derelict play area, which used to be a council area. Last 3 years, I'm a trustee of Hearts Own Community Trust. It's ready to be opened. It's going to be opened in Easter. I'm not exactly sure which day, to be off the top of my head, with a bit of an open bash, everybody invited, and it's splendid. I've just been on the edges of this. Councillor Bean's done all the pushing and shoving and what have you, and he's done a heck of a job of this play park, which has transformed a derelict area which was in danger of being a not very pleasant area. Anybody's got volunteers, Jane? Anybody's got volunteers? We always want volunteers. If you need a big field for anything you want, just get into, I'll put my details in. One or two things that you've mentioned, we're trying to get walking cricket going, because that's the level I'm at the moment, walking cricket. So any of your groups want to spend a couple of ideas, it just gives me an opportunity to play cricket alongside you. So anything like that. We've got some trees free, little trees. We over-ordered with the Woodland Trust. If anybody wants some trees, we don't want them to die. Obviously, we want them to be used. We'll plant them, but we're not quite sure they'll be in the best place. So if any group wants some free trees, just get in touch with me.
It might be worth speaking with Green Synergy as well on that one. Yeah, they will probably have a good contact for you, Ian.
Yeah, because we've taken the trees, we've replaced some trees that were in danger of falling down. I've really got into solar panels recently. Some great modern solar panels, because we haven't got electricity where we do most of our cricket for the kids, and now we've got solar panels powering stuff up. It's brilliant. And just I found out yesterday, somebody I coached has just been named the International Women's Cricketer of the Year, Tammy Beaumont, although she was 11 when I coached her, and I think she was already beyond me. And Ollie Robinson, who's a regular for England now, I coached him between the ages of 6 and 8, but he was about 2 foot nothing then. He's 6'5" now, but and as I say, precious little to do with my coaching. I just pick the cones up and things like that. But if anybody wants anything that I've talked about, or kids that want to play, or anybody who wants to play cricket, and sorry, I've forgotten, who was it from Age UK?
It was Heather.
Heather. One of your chefs, Kirsty, runs our women's side, runs our women's group. So yeah, we've got a women's team and lots of girls playing cricket as well. Right, I'll shut up now. Thank you.
Thanks, Ian, and always knew you'd got that ability to coach into glory. Well done, no, fantastic, good. Joan. No takers.
No.
June. Oh, sorry, Joan. Yeah, sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, this is all new to me too. I'm chairperson of a group called Singing for Fun, a voluntary chairperson, yeah. And the group has actually grown quite a lot since 2018 when we became independent. At the moment, we're having a few difficulties because we usually go into Mayfields in Broadfield Lane, which is actually a special unit. There we have, I don't know, we usually meet on a Thursday morning. We have in the region of, I suppose, 50 people now come to this group. Some of those are they've got Alzheimer's, but at the moment, because of COVID, because of what's happening, where we can't meet up in Mayfields, but hey-ho, we've actually had another unit for people over 50 that have actually approached us. So we are now going in there on a Thursday. My problem at the moment is it's grown so much that I actually need volunteers to help me with events outside, and actually to apply for funding for me, because with being not the only person, I have got a treasurer who's having difficulty at the moment, sort of. So I've had to ask somebody else to come in, and maybe Jody, maybe that's where you could help us. So yeah, I'm looking for volunteers, really, somebody that can actually apply for funding for me, because we all know that that is quite hard work, isn't it? And it's not just the funding that you have to do; it's actually the reports and things. And we have been involved. We started with RVS, yeah, and now I'm on a steering group, and I've been approached by Boston Better Together, because RVS funding finishes in March. Yeah, I've been approached. Can they actually go under Sing's umbrella? Yeah, that fantastic. That would be a good way to keep all the other groups going that are like Qigong, coffee groups, all sorts of things that are happening. But obviously, I can't do all that. So yeah, basically I'm saying, yeah, that would be fantastic. And at the moment I've said, no, I can't do that unless I can get help to do that. Really what's happened, I need to get some funding so that we can actually employ someone to do the work that I've been doing, because it's growing all the time.
Okay, Jones, that might be a pickup with us, you know, Jodie and Jane and me, just to see if there's anything we can do to support there. But lovely.
Jodie actually has been very helpful.
Yeah.
She's sent me a link. Yeah.
Perfect. Lovely. Okay, so we'll pick up subsequent to this. Julie.
Hello, thank you, Diane. I could talk for hours, but I won't, obviously. I always feel so inspired after I've left these meetings, Diane. There is so much brilliant work going on out there. And this is where I just want to make a plea for Connect to Support Lincolnshire. I mean, if you don't mind, I'll give an update presentation at a future group, because we've had a lot of
Yes, I was thinking that myself, Julie, perhaps the April one.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, it's an online information and advice resource for everyone, public, professionals, relatives, patients, developed by the County Council and Health as the central point of information for everyone in Lincolnshire. All things of value to people. Just to mention some new things that we've put on there, which might be of interest to yourselves. We've now got a volunteering and community section, which gives helpful advice on how to become a volunteer, how to set up a group. We list all the current funding that is available to groups at the moment. We list information to support people to understand governance, so insurance, safeguarding, etc. And we also have information to help with marketing and communications. We're moving the Lincolnshire Autism Hub on to Connect to Support Lincolnshire, which is obviously there to support people with autism. We're working with health colleagues on a cancer support directory for those people living with cancer. We've got a new venues and facilities resource there. So if anyone is looking to set up a group, we have got nearly 2,000 venues and facilities in Lincolnshire. That can be anything from a room in a community centre, open spaces, fields, a pub that's got a function room. You can filter it by capacity, whether it's got parking, whether it's got a kitchen, so that you can see what's available. We've got a Twitter account. We've already got about 450 followers, so we regularly tweet out. I mean, many of you won't be aware, but I get notified of some of the things that some of you do. We will tweet it out and it reaches lots of people. But throughout today's session, I've been looking at Connector support. Some of you are listed on there, some of you aren't. So my please get yourself signed up. It's free to access. There's a sign up form on there. If you want any more information, just email me. I put my email address in the chat earlier on in the meeting. We've got so much going on. We've got an offline app in development. That's with Apple and Android at the moment. We're working with health on social prescribing. We're working with mental health services, you know, from the commissioners down to providers. So, you know, please, I've been doing lots of briefings with community connectors, social prescribers, and that was why, you know, when I was speaking to Paul earlier, you know, we've already got that resource there that hopefully can link in with to support people in our communities, you know, who might have come to us from other nations, etc. So much on there. As I say, I could talk for hours. I'm quite passionate about it, but please get yourself signed up. Please help us promote it. You know, we're trying to promote that this is a resource for everyone to take ownership of. You know, I don't want to be seen as just the person who needs to update it. I want us all to flag if there are things that can be added, flag if the things that are out of date. Let's all take ownership of this brilliant resource we've got for everyone in Lincolnshire. Thank you, Diane.
Thanks so much, Julie. And as I say, I will give you some full airspace at the next one. That would be really good. Julie Morgan. Might be struggling on muting again. There seems to be a bit of a problem, isn't there? No, I'll pass over then. Lindsay, did you have anything else to add in? No. Thank you. Sarah?
Sarah, or another Sarah. Hello.
Yeah, sorry, Sarah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Sarah Parker, Schools Coordinator for the NSPCC for Lincolnshire. Volunteer situation at the moment. Some of you I've met and some of you know who we are and what we do. Obviously, the NSPCC, I don't really need to explain really what that is, but we have volunteers who have for the last 11 years been going out to schools and delivering Speak Out, Stay Safe assemblies and workshops for children. I haven't done that since March and the beginning of the big bug, but we're very lucky in that our volunteers retrained to either help on the adult helpline or to help answering childline calls. We are aiming to have our volunteers back out in schools after Easter. We are going through a programme of renewing DBSs and ID cards, etc., ready for that, because obviously they all have to be in place before a volunteer steps foot in a school. And our volunteers will get an update training ready for that period. We are still offering to schools the virtual assemblies. But what we are finding is that schools, although we hoped that after Christmas, schools would be in a better position, what we're finding is that schools are still on their knees, basically. They have got so many staff absences, children absences, and in fact, they're struggling even to get relief teachers into the classes. So we're saying Easter, but obviously it just depends on what happens in the country at the time. We will probably come back out to you for some advertising for those voluntary positions at that time. And at the same time, we are working up our secondary schools delivery and offer, which we hopefully will be doing soon, because up until now we've been primary. But we're also wanting to now develop more community links and see where we as an organisation can support other organisations in the community and to work with other organisations in the community. NSPCC can offer lots. I don't want to go through it all now because there's many
again,
many
I
things.
might have to give you a separate slot
absolutely.
For that.
So I'll put my contact details in the chat. If you've got
Sarah.
any questions or want to get in touch and just say hi, then please do. So that's me.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You so much. Thank you. Thanks for that update. That's really interesting. It's all about school situation too. Phil, I'm aware I've been keeping you on hold as well. Over to you for a few minutes.
Yeah, I won't take up much of your time. My name's Phil and I come from a charity called Survivors of Bereavement by Suicide. We pretty much do what it says on the tin. We try to help people who've been bereaved or impacted by suicide loss. We're a peer support group. We don't offer counselling or anything like that. We've got 55 groups around the country, but unfortunately we don't have anything in Lincolnshire at the moment. So I'm constantly on the lookout for volunteers, but we do have a load of national services that go on. We have a helpline. We have some virtual groups. We have a Punjabi speaking women's group, which is done by Zoom. And we also have a men's only group called Bereavement, which is also done by Zoom. We have email support and we have a forum as well. But on the volunteer side, we're always looking for volunteers. Unfortunately, our criteria is very strict, which very much narrows down our pool of available volunteers. They must be over the age of 18. They must have been bereaved by suicide, and it must have been at least 2 years ago. And to make things even worse, if that wasn't hard enough for me, we need to have at least 3 volunteers in one area before we can start a group up. That's to make sure that they can give each other the support that they need while they're supporting others. So that's us. I'll put my contact details in the chat. If you do have anybody that's been bereaved by suicide, they're welcome to have a look at our website and have a look at some of the national support that we have available. If they're up in the north of the county, we do have a group in Scunthorpe. And if they're in the west, then we have a group in Nottingham as well. But, yeah, that's us.
Thank you, Phil, and it's good to keep having you on the calls. Really hope that at some point that group in Lincolnshire can be set up. It would be wonderful to see that.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
Stuart, just to check whether you've got anything else that you wanted to share. Is Stuart still with us? I think
Stuart's just messaged to say he has to go.
Yeah, okay, lovely. So I think that's everybody, unless I have missed anyone at all. I do apologise if I have. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry we overran, but I think it's important that people have an opportunity just to add bits and pieces in. And from that discussion, I've picked up quite a few potential speakers for forthcoming meetings. So thank you very much. We'll be in touch about the 20th of April and how and where we're going to facilitate that if we can manage a face-to-face one. So lovely to see you all. Yeah, have a good rest of day. Thanks very much indeed. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.